Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture we'll see how to package your Python file into the executables in the Linux. So if you just remember from the previous lecture, we have been doing this packaging with the help of Windows only. So it is not relatively harder, but it is assumed that it takes more time than basically converting with the Windows than in the Linux, because it has to have the wine configuration first in order to have that PyInstaller installed on the Linux, because PyInstaller is never made for the Linux, it is only for the Windows. So we have to have this wine configuration which will support the virtual box type, something like you may say that it will have some configuration which can execute your MSI files, or basically you can store or install the libraries over there. So what am I going to do is, first of all, let me show you the process of doing this in the Windows, and we have been doing this for many time now. So maybe this is the file, main keylogger is the file, and let me just remove everything from here because we have been building this before too. So first of all, you have to install that PyInstaller. So in order to install the PyInstaller, you'll simply say first that is a Python and yum in order to use that pip package, and I'll just say install, and that is your PyInstaller. And this is the way to install the PyInstaller on the Windows, which is very easy. But in the case of Linux, this is not possible. We have to first configure the wine in order to download the Python executables, and after that you have to only install the PyInstaller. So it is also quite easy after you install the PyInstaller, because the process is quite similar to that Windows and a Linux. So let's go back to the Linux and let's see. First of all, you have to have this Windows Python version in your Linux. So first of all, let's go over here in this python.org website, and let's search for this download and go to this window version. And you can see that it has this latest Python 3 version and 2 version, but we just want that 2 version. Let's click on that and go down over here, which will show you that this has this installer, MSI installer. Let's click on that. Let's save this MSI file, and it will just download now. Let's wait for a moment. Now it is downloaded. Let's open that file. Let's go to that download, and this has this MSI file. So first of all, you have to have this wine configuration in order to set up this MSI file. So let me take you through the procedure. So first of all, you have to type wine, and after that I have to execute this MSI file. You can clearly see this Python is MSI file. So we have this command that is MSI x, which is basically to execute this MSI file. And after that we'll just give this /i as argument, and now we have to just copy this MSI file, the name of a MSI file basically. So let me just copy everything, and I'll just paste it down here, and let's paste. Let me just hit enter, and it will show us this tab. Now it is saying that this is a Python version and something information. Let's click next, and now let's click again the next, because it will just replace my the previous version of Python. And let me just click next again, and it will now install on your machine. So first of all, it has started to remove my previous files. It will now copy the new file. Let me wait for a moment. It will just show us now the information saying that Python has been installed. And now let me just click finish. Now Python has been installed on the wine configuration. So if you want to see this Python file, if you see, this is the MSI file that is for the Windows machine. So this is not for the Kali machine. So we are doing just that is installing the Python version of the window in the Linux, because this is done by this wine configuration over here. And now if you just remember what I told you before, I have told you that PyInstaller is never made for the Linux, it is only for the window. So for that case, we are only installing this package. So now let's go to the folder where we have this Python installed. So it will be in the home. So let's go to the home, and if you see, we have this bunch of files that start with this dot. So this is the hidden files. If you didn't see these files or a folder, then you have to simply click over here and press that is show hidden files, and you will also get this .wine folder over here which we just downloaded. If you want to see that version of a Python, then go to the drive C, and you will see here that is showing the Python 27, and this you can see that we are running this in this Kali Linux. You can see everything over here is same as we have done in the case of the Windows. You can see we have these libraries all installed over here. You can also see the program data, program files. This is not the folder of the Linux, this is the folder of the Windows. So this is same as saying that you create the virtual machine of Windows inside the Linux. So that is inside this .wine. So now what you need to do is you have to now install that is PyInstaller in this machine. So let's do that. So in order to install that PyInstaller, you have to go through this wine installer. So let's start over here. Let me just open the terminal in this wine. So we are inside this .wine folder, and here I want first of all, that is, let me just go inside here, because if you just remember what we just did in the case of the Windows packaging, we just use with the Python interpreter. So Python interpreter is inside this Python 27, and you can see it is right here which is saying python.exe. So let me just open the terminal and let me just make it bigger. So in the case of Windows, what you normally do is you type Python and you type -m and pip install and the command that is PyInstaller, which we just did a minute before. But in this case, this is not valid in the Linux because we are using this .wine. So first of all, you have to use that wine command in order to perform this operation. So first of all, use wine, and now it is python.exe. So only Python is also not valid because we have to run the installer first, that is python.exe is the application. After that, you can use the same command that we normally do in the case of Windows, that is pip install, and the name of the package here is PyInstaller, that is going to convert our Python file into the executables. So let me hit enter, and I think I have already downloaded the PyInstaller. So let's do one more time, and let's see if this works or not again. So okay, it is not working. So I think the version is not compatible. So latest version is not compatible. So what I can do now is download the next version. Let's see if it has the problem with this version, or I think the newer version has some problem. So let's go for maybe 2.7. I'll just go with 14 because I have tested in there and it was working perfectly fine in that version, which was 2.7.14. So let's download this installer and let's install it. So let's see. Okay, so it is Python AMD 64, but I want that is this file, not the before file. I'll just use this file, which is the 32 version over here installer. Let's save this file and let's open that download directory again, and let's copy again the name of the file. Now let's open the terminal again here. So we are doing the same process with the new file, which is the Python file again. So that is with the same command execute. So first of all, it should be msi execute, and after that I'm going to give this argument here, and the name of the file should be pasted, which is the Python file. Let me hit enter again. This should work now. So I'll just say install for all user, and it will just give you another information of the Python. I want to just install every package again. So what I found with the newer version was it was unable to just give us the library installed properly. So I just installed or roll back to the previous version which we have installed. So that is 2.7.14. So I'll just say I have finished, and I think it is working now. So let's go now to the home directory where we have that hidden folder with the name of wine. So let's go for the home, and it is right here. So we have to first install that PyInstaller package again. So let's go to the drive C Python 27. So let's open the terminal over here. So now we have to install this package, which is PyInstaller. So same as we have done in the case of the Windows, we have to install with the p package, but for now you just see here that PyInstaller is not the package that is available in the Linux. So first of all, we have to use this wine configuration, and after that we have this python.exe, which is inside this Python 27 folder. You can see we are in the Python 27, and this is the file that we need to execute, which is our application. And let's go here again. Where is my this? So after that, what you need to do is you have to use the same command that we used to do in the case of Windows. So I'll just say installer and PyInstaller. So I have already installed PyInstaller previously, so it will show me some message that is requirement is satisfied, but in your case it will just install. So I have already installed PyInstaller before, so this is the way to install the PyInstaller. So next thing is to now convert that file, Python file, into the executables. So we have to package now that Python file. So let's go to that file now. So I want to go in the computer, and in here I have this var www and html, where we have the list of the files. So in the file, let's say I want to just convert this download.py file, which was obviously the collection where we just made the keylogger and sent that to the client, but now I want to convert this Python file into the executables. So let's see how we can do that. So first of all, I'll just open the terminal right here. So this will be the terminal. So I have already told you before that if you want to use any of this PyInstaller, which is the package that is not available in Linux, we have to do it with the wine configuration. So first of all, as always, we'll just type that wine, and after that let's check for the Python PyInstaller package. So if you go over here in the folder, so let me just open new files and new window. Okay, not new window, let's go again, and here you could see it is the home, and one here would be your location where you have this file, which is var www and html, and we have this file which is download.py that should be converted into executables. But if you see, the PyInstaller is installed in this .wine package. If you see that this .wine is invisible for you, you have to first make it visible by just pressing this show hidden files, and after that go to this .wine, and it is inside here. So that should be inside drive C and inside this Python package, and you should go to this script folder, and inside here you should see the package that we just installed, which is pyinstaller.exe. So we have to use this package now, which is inside this .wine drive C Python 27 and a script. So let's type here now. So I'll just say first of all we have to just go to the root, and after that is the wine folder, and this is the hidden folder. After that we go to the drive C, and after that we have this Python 27 folder, which has this scripts with yes capital. Make sure this is the same folder that we have here, which is scripts. And after that I want this PyInstaller to be executed, and it has this extension .exe, which is obviously referring that this is your Windows file, and we are using this because of this wine configuration. So next thing what you want to do is we want to use this PyInstaller same as we did in the case of a Windows. So after you type PyInstaller, you usually just type the name of a file you want to convert to. So in this case we want to convert, that is download.py. So you can clearly see where in the same folder that this download.py is. So we can simply write here download.py file, because we are in here, that is in the same folder. So after that you want to give that is no or one file, basically one file, because we want to compress or we want to get the package into the one file, and no console. So this no console is because when this executable is running, we don't want the command prompt to be running with it. So we want only this download.py file convert to the download.exe, and when client run that download.exe, we don't want console to be running with it. So no console. So let's hit enter over here, because we have now successfully get this configuration to convert our Python file into the executable. Let's hit enter, and you will see now it will be packaged, and it will give you this packaging information. Right here we have this folder created, so let it do its tasks first, and now it will just package everything, and it has said that building exe completed successfully. Let's go to this dist folder. Over here you can see we have this download.exe. So now we have successfully completed in the execution of converting the Python file into the executables from the Linux. It was done with this wine configuration, and basically we have something like a virtual box that install the Python version of Windows, PyInstaller of the Windows, because PyInstaller is not available in the case of the Linux. So we have to make this wine configuration to do it. So I had taken you through the installation procedure of Python and also the PyInstaller. So this will be wrap for this lecture. We saw how we can convert the Python file into the exe file in the Linux in this lecture. So in the next lecture we'll learn more about the packaging of this payload. See you in the next one.